You're listening to a Malibu Entertainment original podcast. For the very first episode of the Ably Diverse Chronicles, we're going to take a trip back to December 2021, where I have a chat to Cookie Diggler about the barriers between sexuality, disability, and why certain stereotypes and misconceptions actually exist. Join us right now. Sexuality and disability. And you might think, oh, hang on, Mel, you got CP. What is there to worry about? What, you seem like you've got your shit together. Well, I do, but it's seeing what it, yeah, I do. Thank you for.
Like a lot of people.
Yes. I do. However, it's seeing how it's reflected on other people and for other people that have disabilities, or people that are outside of that sector and looking in. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to everybody? Like the fact that we aren't seen as human sexual beings. Meaning those of people with disabilities. But we are. And I know Cookie and I are facing that on our day-to-day lives.
It's strange. I go through it, I've seen it as myself, which I don't give a shit. It's just somewhat normal. Regardless of who, what, where or whatever. Someone will do something. But as Mel's gone through and the more I've been with her and sat down and learnt, and even going through to get into doing just work-wise is caring for other people. How it's set up. I mean,
as in government-wise, are you talking about?
Oh, just person on person.
Yeah.
And hearing different stories here, there and wherever. And it's basically fucks people over, like Mel and whatever else. It's not designed to do it. Some parts make it happen simply because of legalities and whatever else. But the biggest loss being is a lack of privacy. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Everyone likes to fuck. Some people don't.
We fuck a lot.
Get some religious dickheads and don't want to, and half the time they just go out in the back shed and do it anyhow. Just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, and we fuck a lot, but that's not because of my disability. It's because that's how I feel, and that's half the reason why I ended up doing what I do as a job, and I've got the best job in the world, let's just say.
You get horny, you want to root. So.
But a lot of people don't have the verbalization skills to be able to say this is how I feel. And nor should they feel like they have to verbalize
they
it to
don't have
anybody.
the verbal skills, and they don't have the physical capabilities in some instances. And it's kind of disregarded. It's a lot of it, we're going through the process of setting up a business. We'll be on there, we've got a website going up. But if you're in there and want to have to speak to your own story, your own personal stories, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we would
we're trying to go through, it's like Mel. Some parts of the body works fine, some bits are harder. If you want to go through, me, I'm easy. If I want to have a wank, I can just whip my dick out, knock the top off it, not a fucking issue. But Mel can't.
Does.
But Mel can't. She's got to think about who's around, what's around, and what's going to happen after. I don't have to. I just blame it like, what tissue and it's done.
I guess I've got to respect as we all should do, but I've got to respect the environment around me and consider it a workplace for others before I do anything privately.
Yeah, and that's one of the sad parts of your reality being Mel. And that's whether it's with your own family or, I mean, you can sit down there, but if you got to sit there and with a relative and you want to have a wank and just want to be yourself, be private and quiet.
And you can't. Yeah.
You might like looking at fucking girls walking down the street with their bums, freaking hanging out with some bloke. But you can't because X mightn't like it, or this one doesn't approve of it. You can't be yourself.
Or the company that you use to get support from may not agree with it, or certain government bodies, which we won't mention, don't agree with it either.
No, you got NDIS or whatever. I don't know the rules. However, I'll look into it. That's what other people can bring out their own personal stories, which is what is needed in that. So there is this factual, this has happened and it's provable. Don't need bullshit stories or
I know a lot of
suppositions and just
I know there's some people who have gone through and got intimacy therapy through the NDIS, but it's been an absolute fight. You have to go to court for it to get the funding approved.
Yeah, if you want to go there, just have a route and you got to go to court. It's
I think it's all based around the issues with consent because no one can prove. They think no one can prove that you've consented, even if you're non-verbal. But there's like organisations such as Touching Base who do such a great job of connecting sex workers with clients with disabilities, who say consent come in all different ways, and that's regardless of whether you've got a disability or not. You can you can look away, you can smile, you can make a noise. All of that is a form of consent or non-consent. Yeah. And if you can do that, why isn't that enough proof?
Well, you've asked to get a hooker or get a sex worker, then as far as I'm concerned, you consented to it. So you can still change your mind at the end. You just set things up.
And I feel for people with disabilities,
it's no different than someone being tied up in bondage. You've got to have some way out of it.
I feel most people with disabilities find it difficult to meet somebody, to be able to form that intimate relationship with, whether you are non-verbal or you're just physically unable to get to a bar or get the physical assistance to be able to get out into the community.
Yeah, if you want to mix with people, it's limited. Yeah. Especially nowadays, it's fucking winter with the fucking dreaded chook flu floating around, COVID and fucking whatever else.
Yeah, but I think
that limits your things. But most places physically aren't set up to accept someone in a wheelchair or any other way.
And I know there's a few people that, and myself included, on my down days, is like the world doesn't approve of us and doesn't want us and doesn't think we deserve that part of our life, which then causes anxiety, depression, eating disorders, any other, mental health issue. But people don't realise it's like a domino effect. If your sex life or your intimate life isn't there for you, then you feel worthless and you feel like nothing else. Then you're not worth it to anybody. And no one should be made to feel that way. And, no one should be made to feel that way. It's like how they talk about irritable bowel syndrome, how the gut is like the central entrance to your body. If your gut doesn't work or isn't working properly, then the rest of your body is not going to function properly either. So it's the same thing. I think at the top of the food chain, or the bottom of the food chain, whatever, which way you want to look at it, your sexuality and intimacy with yourself then builds on everything else. You know what I mean? It creates a path for everything else.
Yeah, it's part of yourself.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with yourself, you don't feel accepted. So it doesn't matter what orientation you are, anything like that. If you don't feel accepted in the world and accepted by yourself, then how are you expected to exist properly in the world? So we'd love to hear anybody's stories about any. I know it can be quite triggering for people, so you can remain anonymous if you'd like to. But if you'd like to share your own stories in regards to this, whether it be physical disability, developmental, terminal illness, we'd love to chat with you, because it's a sort of false precedence that people have, that people with disabilities and other issues don't have a sexual drive, and that's what we're here to prove.
Yes, and look, don't want whatever else. Go through. I'm not a fucking psych. Mel's not a psych or anything like that. It's just two normal people.
Yeah, but we've also
got opinions,
personal experience as well.
Got personal experience as well as opinions. So. They
Yeah.
mightn't agree with whoever, wherever.
I mean,
We're not here to be judgmental, just here to find out
Yeah.
information. Like the business, what we would like to set up is assistance with sex aids. Going through trying to find something. There's fuck all.
I mean, I've gone through
It's piss poor.
hundreds of toys.
Things are just not designed.
Yeah, in my own personal life, and even having assistance to be set up. It's always got to be planned. There's no spontaneity. So if I feel horny one day, I have to wait till somebody's on to set me up. For example,
You're
it's
the right
just say,
person. You can't go jump down and whip out and go have your little cam life whenever it takes you.
No, and exactly. I'm a cam performer.
You can't even work when you're in there.
No, I'm a cam performer. I'm an award-winning porn star. I love saying that. I really do. And I do many things, and this is one of the mega podcast hosts to help you guys out. But I've got to plan every single thing that I do. And I know that's a normal part of life regardless of disability. But this is down to the fine detail even being planned. There's no element of spontaneity. I mean, even with cooking my sex life, sometimes it's just got to be planned that no one's around. And we can meet for 8 hours. But, we're both professionals, so we can do that. But, that part of our life is always planned as well, and it's not part of a relationship. Your relationship shouldn't be based on, right, well, we're going to have a root on Friday night. But I know a lot of people have, date nights, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, and blended families, etc. So you do have to do that, but you again have your own privacy too.
Yeah,
have your own time.
Someone's in a relationship with kids, and they're in a wheelchair and try and set up a route. They've got 3 or 4 extra problems.
Yes.
You should be able to go through. If you want to have a route, it's just something can be organised. Whether it's in a room at somewhere. But you can't, because hotels aren't set up.
So you're talking about...
It's a whole wide range of
Yeah.
fuckovers and just things that just aren't set up.
So you're talking about when, say, for example, I have kids, and then...
Yeah.
Which I don't, I just want to clear that. Yeah. But then...
Someone has kids and whatever else, no one ever... They can't, because they've got kids there. So you can plan up. You automatically got to plan up with that. If your partner's not being your assistant, your worker, if you're a single mum or whatever, and you've had an accident and suddenly in a wheelchair,
absolutely.
It's not that if you can't walk.
Because even if you are a single,
it doesn't take anything. You get a COVID and your fucking legs don't work.
Yeah, exactly. Because even
it's not just a permanent.
If you are a single parent and you don't have a disability, you can still, when you're in your own bed in your own time, or in the shower even, when the small gap of time where you've got your own space.
Anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
When you we can walk around, you've got reasonably freedom. If you're relying on someone else to change your pants and wipe your bum and...
Yeah, we're not saying that we know people's lives, but we're just saying if you don't have a disability, it's very easy to find 1 minute. And sometimes, if you've got a sex drive like mine, you only need 2 minutes. But...
What we're interested in sorting out is having somewhere and something to do. If you know websites, let us know.
Yeah.
I've searched, I haven't found many. There's a couple that's purport to give little bits, but they're pretty piss poor.
So if you've got your own, as we said before, if you've got your own solutions,
I'm mechanically minded. If you know if you built this and that works, that's fine. Because it's part of what we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Make vibrators that suit.
And I think when I retire, that's what I want to do.
Another person has gone through and done it, so...
Hey?
And there's work, and you've got fucking... umpteen different fucking university studies of people just sitting there bleeding the system out trying to achieve something. Or purport to achieve something over fucking 10 years and do fuck all. And the only way that people are going to sort this out is we do it for ourselves. I think... No, you're wrong. I'm 2 legs and fucking maybe half fucked in the head, but...
No, you're not. No, you eat pussy like this. No smoke.
Do something I'm passionate about. Finding a solution for something. So
yeah. Yeah.
it'll work.
But yeah, I guess what we want to know is if you've been in a similar situation where you've had to deal with resistance or you've had to, overcome your own sexual barriers physically and even mentally even. You may have experienced some trauma in your life that's caused you not to be able to climax or whatever it might be, and you've been able to overcome those positively. We'd love to.
Right, I'm just sticking on his website. It's just going to be there for all and sundry to look at.
Yeah,
nothing hidden. There's no.
Yeah, except for it's going to be a lot of and I can't even say that word.
It's just
it's
anonymous.
Going to be anonymously, yeah.
If you want to be anonymous, it is. If you don't want to be, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be all there in one place and not fucking spread across 200 different parasitic fucking psychologists or sex therapists bleeding the piss out of a system for a shitload of money and really giving you fuck all in the long run. It's just you standing up for your own self.
I think also for me to get...
But that's the person as well as Mel, but that's the mums and dads of Mels and...
anybody.
Yeah, it's relatives, a friend, You don't have to do... It's something. When you go down, your mate's had a fucking car accident. Can't walk now. He's freaking
anybody's
out.
Anybody's life can change. Yeah.
It's myriad of different
things. Yeah, I think...
As anyone who actually goes through and, like myself, when I stepped into this, I didn't really think of it at the time. I've said that before. You think about it, but now you do it. You try and find something that's set up for it. It's just not. It just isn't.
So when you met me, you thought you were just going to have this amazing sex all the time?
No, it's not. It's going to hotels and...
Of course. Yeah. We still have amazing sex, but...
Still have a decent fucking normal life.
Yeah.
This is brooding's part thereof.
Yeah. That's my job. But I think...
you modify and do it, that's fuck all.
Yeah. I think also just
that's not the point of what we're setting up. It's the total...
Yeah.
Left out in the wind of people like this.
Yeah.
We're
all isolated.
You can't go to it.
In a way.
Unless you're in a Pacific place, you can't go to someone else's house. If you're in a wheelchair, you just can't. There's just no access. Simple. They're not built and designed to do it.
No, and you can't just take someone home from a bar.
You can't go to a hotel. You can't just go and meet someone. Oh, fuck it, we'll just whip off and have a quick route, because your chances of getting somewhere to actually do it are fucking limited.
Yeah. I mean, I've been...
Very limited.
Yeah, I've been in the adult industry 16 years now, and I've never had a chance to have spontaneous sex like that. Because I would love to. You better watch out if it happens. But you just can't, because you've got to put all the elements in place of assistance or access or, there's... Yeah.
And that's a wide change. It's a wide changing thing to get that happening.
Do you think...
That's so people can send me shitloads of money. We can sit there and build it, but that's a shitload of money.
Do you think dating me, it's changed your outlook on sex, really?
No.
In a way? Has it made it easier for you to be yourself?
Not overly. Not in
So
that respect.
Yeah.
I've certainly opened up more going online and everything else.
Oh yeah, he's a cam boy. People, go check him out.
In the dick swinging in the breeze and...
Chatterbait.
In the dick swinging in the breeze and saying hello. It's fine. It's opened up that part of my life, most definitely. I wouldn't have...
Yeah. I think to get really personal with me, and I've never done this on this podcast before, so I'm going to do it right now. I think with having all those elements of having to be aware of other people before myself, the pleasure for myself has always been on the back burner. So that's one of the reasons why I started in this industry, which also just changed my life positively. But I thought then if I pleasured other people, I wouldn't have to worry about myself, because that is my purpose, is to pleasure other people. And so even now, when I get pleasure from, say, cooking, I will be like, oh, this is not, maybe we should do a film while we're doing this, so it's not just all about me. And I know a lot of you who are in the same position feel that way. Of like, if I do this job, and we're not downing the adult industry at all, but if we do this job, that means we're pleasing other people and that's our purpose, so we don't have to worry about ourselves. It's like single mothers, and they always put their children first and forget about themselves.
To a degree, some do, some don't.
Depending on what the situation is. But yeah, that's how I feel, and I know, hopefully I'm not alone on that. But I think it's a backing of, like, I've brought up Baptist, like I said in one of the earlier episodes. So you're brought up sex is a bad thing. So then when you put disability on top of that, you've got this ongoing mind battle of like, I do porn, but I also I'm entitled to my own pleasure and to experience pleasure, as we all are. We're all worthy of that. But getting to your own aha moment, if you like, and realizing that is a huge step. Huge step. Yeah.
You need to be happy and comfortable in yourself, so
Well,
you'll be able to provide
I feel like
methods of getting there.
Yeah, I feel like being with you, I've opened up way more than I thought that I ever would. Probably a little bit too much.
Yeah, I've done that. It's just
Yeah.
being in a relationship with somebody you care about, so I'm happy with that.
Are you? Are you happy?
Yeah, very happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice to know it actually exists.
Oh.
I find the love of the lovely lady.
Oh. What's her name?
Yeah.
Say my name, bitch. Well, I actually do that quite well. I'm quite proud of that. I'm not sure. But I guess, it's an internal struggle for anyone who has even, other issues that may not be physical. There's that internal struggle of, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough of my own pleasure, or somebody to give me pleasure, and not, just giving it to somebody else. But am I then seen as narcissistic if I want my own pleasure? No, you're not. It's a basic human right that, if we go back to disability, it isn't seen as a basic human right. It's seen as a luxury to have access to sexual pleasure, which is not so far from the bloody truth. And that's why hopefully I've shown through my work as well, and will continue to until I'm physically unable to root anymore, that, sexuality is not a luxury, it is a human right. And hopefully Cookie will help me on that crusade, and I know that a lot of previous guests on this podcast would totally agree, and many of you out there would as well. So yeah, if any of this has been triggering for you, make sure you search for some social groups on sexuality and disability. There is a lot out there, and of course touchingbase.org, which I mentioned in a previous podcast before, who have a lot of resources in regards to connecting disability with sex work. And they're based in Sydney, Australia, but they've got general resources that anybody can access. And also check your local area for those resources as well. And of course we're here to answer any questions or share stories as well, so hopefully you will. And I
don't have answers or anything.
No,
quite willing to see what we can do.
We'd like to share stories and maybe see if we can help, by
definitely.
combining, stories and brainstorming ideas on how we can improve people's lives, including our own. Because,
You can't guarantee anything, but you never know if you don't try. So.
exactly. If you've overcome any of those struggles, we'd love to hear from you, and leave us a message or a voice message or an email. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow Cookie on Instagram. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and remember to connect with us on our socials and our Patreon. We'd love to hear from you, and also with your feedback and ideas. Join us next time on the DIGGLER Chronicles.